Hi, Micah. Um, this is Laura, but my guess is you already know that. And this is my graduate school survival kit assignment. And I thought before I got started, I thought I should explain to you why I'm turning in the link to a YouTube video instead of a written paper. And it all goes back a couple of weeks ago to a presentation I was watching on the web by a Kansas State anthropology professor named Michael Wesch, and he studies, he does ethnographies of different digital communities, including YouTube. And it really captured my imagination and attention, especially when he was talking about what happens to people when they do their first video logs. And he called it context collapse. And what he meant by that was the confusion that happens when people don't know who they're talking to, or when the person is actually going to look at it, and so you're staring into this webcam, and you get really awkward because you really don't know who you're talking to, or when you're talking to, or what context it's going to be in, and so it comes out being very awkward, which I can tell you I'm experiencing that right now. In fact, this is take 5. I can't tell you what happened in the first 4 takes. But anyway, so I really got interested in this concept as a paradox of being in a very private space, but also being incredibly public. And I was wondering if it would trigger like a sense of liminality, and so I really wanted to experiment with it a little bit. As far as what it's doing to me, I'm going to have to sit back and process that for a little while because I'm not really sure what's going on right now. But um, anyway, so that's part of it. The other part of it is this assignment was asking me to come up with a career plan. And as I think I've been pretty clear in class, I don't really have a career plan. And so, knowing me, if I were to write a paper about my career plan at this point, probably about 3/4 of it would be BS. I'm here to talk about my career plan over the next 5 to 7 years. And since I don't really know what that is, I figured first I would walk through some of the challenges, like why I have no idea what my career plan is. And then I did actually come up with a mission statement, and finally talk about my plans for actually getting a plan, because I sense that that's probably a pretty good idea. And so I think it's important for me to understand exactly why I'm here before I can get to the next step of what I'm going to do with being here. And so why I'm here is, in many ways, I'm here to try to fix or mitigate past mistakes. Um, I had gotten to a point in my life where I'd completely lost my intellectual curiosity and faith in humanity, and I know that sounds really dramatic. Maybe it is. I'm a very dramatic person sometimes. Um, but I honestly believe that's true. And so what I wanted to do by entering or re-entering the academic community, which in many ways has always been my home, was to try to regain my curiosity and hope and wonder at the way the world works. And so after 2 years of taking graduate courses, I can honestly say that that's worked. It's a very abstract mission statement for sure. But I think my career mission statement at this point is that I want to advocate for a marginalized individual. I don't necessarily want to actually help them find their voice in a Freirean kind of way. I'm not trying to go out there and be Paulo Freire, because I'm not a saint. But I think that there is a place for an intermediary when people out there have something to say, and they need someone to guide the way and make the connections with them and with the society as a whole. And I think I could do that, and I think I might be pretty good at it. What are some examples of that? And so I do have some examples, like advocating for a student-centered approach in fields that do not traditionally have student-centered approaches. Obviously, I'm thinking about medical education for sure. Or facilitating connections between practitioners and scholars with the intent that the needs and opinions of practitioners are fully understood by the research community. I mean, you don't have to be in medical education to run into that problem. I think that's fairly common. Number 3, encourage open and interdisciplinary communication of knowledge through such media as online journals, conferences, etc. And I'll get to that in a second. And number 4, identify and help communicate the outlooks and experiences of marginalized groups and individuals. And so all those things kind of go together. The fact that one of the reasons why I left medicine, and there's so many. One of these days I should write them all down. My guess is there'd be about 20. But one of them was because as being a solo practitioner in a rural area, that's actually a very marginalized position in the culture of medicine on so many different levels. Being in a rural area, being in a rural area, being in solo practice, being a practitioner. No one hears about those people in journals ever. No one does research for those people in America. They do in Canada because it's a very rural place, but not in America. And so I had so many needs that needed to be addressed, and I had no one to talk to about it. And I just felt like I was kicking a brick wall about 75% of the time. So this idea of the marginalized individual needing a intermediary with the talking heads that are the scholarly journals and the ivory towers, that really kind of strikes a chord with me. So I guess this is moving on to the third part of my paper, which is, okay, how exactly am I going to make that happen? And where am I going to go with it? And so the way I'm coping with this complete lack of any sort of concreteness in my future, which, trust me, is bothering me more than a little. But my coping strategies for that is putting together a list of generic skills that I want to get. And that would be to have some experience and coursework in the world of online education and or publishing. Number 2, program evaluation. Number 3, some experience in grant writing or grant management. And number 4, teaching, which I have no experience in whatsoever, and it little freaks me out a little bit. So that's kind of the way I'm coping with not knowing exactly what I want to do in the future, is kind of putting together this core set of skills. And so, and kind of my plan with that is that as I start working on getting opportunities to gain those skills, I'm going to be meeting people. I'm going to be seeing the types of jobs that they're doing. I'm going to be networking, and something might soon, hopefully, fall into place as far as what I want to do with my life. Like, for example, number 1, the online education and publishing. I'm actually working with Bill Muth on the possibility of setting up an open access journal. And I find that really, really exciting because honestly, like publishing a journal or at some point, being scholarly enough that I could actually be on an editorial board. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but actually working with the publishing process, that's cool. That's something that I can really see myself doing. So if I can make this fly with Bill and his friends, that'd be awesome. So that's kind of where my heart is this semester, and I'm really hoping that it works out because I would really like to see that through. And I think having a couple of years of managing his open access journal um, it would look really good on a resume as far as that's the direction I would love to go in. But and I'm working with Mark, with Jesse Seneschal on some program evaluation, which is also something I could kind of see doing. I mean, I like writing the reports. So those are the things I have going on right now, and I guess my overall plan is to find those opportunities, play with them, see if there's something that I'm interested in, and then as I get more interested, as I find things that I'm interested in, just keep following, like going down that path, and that might possibly be my career plan. So that's how I'm planning on getting my career plan in the next semester or so. So, having now edited this down from 22 minutes to 11 minutes, I guess all that's left is the conclusion. Um, by doing all of this editing, it appears that I do indeed know why I'm in grad school. I know my kind of idealistic, abstract mission statement, which is to help marginalized individuals, whichever population that happens to be, realize their voice. My secret, shh, don't tell anyone, but my secret career plan is I'd love to get into academic publishing, um, even on a management level. Um, and I have my 4 core skill sets that I'm trying to establish right now. And as for this experiment through blogging, I've learned a lot about what it means to go through this process. It's something that I'm going to have to sit down and think about further. But I have learned a lot through this process, and I hope you appreciate it, and that having to sit through this hasn't driven you absolutely crazy. And thank you very much. Bye.